Okay, this is a video tutorial on how to use GIS features and their relationships to permits and cases. I think the only department that will use this out of the box will be stormwater, as they're used to using street segments in Kiva to relate to permits, where we do not have the street segments within the land system like it is in Kiva, because we felt it's really redundant with the GIS, because that's really what the street segments are based upon. So this is going to be general on using any GIS feature for those who may want to do it in addition to land objects, but depending on the particular case type, the standard operating procedure for the department will be what layer you're actually relating your permits to. So I'm going to do a general one, and the specifics of which will be, again, a more of a policy or a workflow decision. So to start this, I'm going to create, just create a new case, just like we're doing a new one, and that I want to relate to GIS feature. Of course, I could use an existing case to add a feature to, or have an address and a feature tied to it. By default, the address is automatically related to a land object, a parcel object here. So I'm going to go to address, and I'm going to also, since I need my map, I'm going to do my probably side-by-side here, and this map may show whatever your last view was. It could be zoomed out, to the county extent or to the multi-county extent here. So I'm going to do one example here. One other feature I think that would be useful to use are the 900 parcels, which aren't in the land system because they don't have an owner. This would include things like Corps of Engineers properties or open space of some sort. So there is some here around the dam that I know of. Angela Foster kind of showed me a permit here, and we looked at this as an option as opposed to tying it to the center line. Perhaps tie it specifically to the parcel in question here. So if my map hasn't been set up, I do need to do a few things. I can select things off the tools menu, such as the legend or maybe the locate function here. So I can select it, and it'll bring that up here and be able to use that legend feature here. I can also select these to show up on the bar up here. So if I wanted legend, I want locate, and maybe I like to do some drawing on my map, so I'll put the red line layer on there, and so these will show up here at the top, so I don't have to keep doing that click down. So to select an actual feature to relate to the permit, I do need to make that layer selectable. So if you're an ArcGIS user, this should be pretty common for you. If you're not, that's okay. You basically go into the legend here, and I'm going to use a parcel, but I know this parcel is not in land, so it doesn't have an address or any land feature or any land record. So I'm going to select the little radio button, and you'll see as I mouse over it says selectable. So I'm going to make this selectable. Now, one warning: if you make multiple layers selectable and you make a selection, what we're going to do in a little bit, it will select all those different features together. So it's very important to make sure you only have the features selectable that you really want to operate on. If you've got a bunch of them through here, so maybe you've set wetland or stream buffer and stuff you want to relate stuff to, either unselect the one you don't need, or if you don't remember kind of what's on, especially when there's tiered levels of here, you can use this button down here, clear all selectable layers. So that's a handy feature, and it'll get rid of those radio buttons here. You will notice on these that have a sub second tier here, you can't select everything. At some points, when you first come into the map, you may need to select the sub item first, or that may not select. It just depends. There's a little quirk in the map, but you want to do your sub feature first. So for parcels or whatever, do the parcel polygon and the parcel layer here. So I've turned that selectable layer on. I can dismiss my legend if I want, or I can keep it and move it around if I want. and keep it on my screen. I'm going to get it out of the way. And so there's a couple of ways to do selections. I can select by a point, I can select by an area, or I can select by a rectangle. So this will be anything that it crosses. So since I'm interested in a single polygon here, single parcel only, I'll just use the point feature and click within it. And it takes about a second or two to actually select that feature, or it depends on how many features you're actually selecting. And you'll see this here is a stand par of 900, which if you're familiar with land, you'll know there's no 900s in there. But if I want to relate this permit to it, I can. So once I've got it selected, and it should say that I've got one here, and I'm on my address tab in PLL, I can hit add, and I can tell it to add from the map. So select from the map, and it's going to bring that over. You can see that stand pars coming across there, and hit save there, and then it's going to add that to my permit here. So you'll know that of course, there's no address associated with this, but this is the GIS feature that it will be linked to, and will always be in the particular permit. It'll also bring over obviously the XY, and it's going to be the centroid of the GIS feature. So that's helpful for looking at this later. And that pretty much shows how to tie a permit to a GIS feature. Again, the layers that are used in here in the legend, I'm using a parcel. Just happens to be a parcel that's not in the land, so that's why I use the GIS. But I may decide that I want to tie it to a street centerline segment like I was before, and I could find the street centerline layer in here, make it selectable, and then select it. Probably want to use the rectangle or the polygon to be able to select that, because it's sometimes hard to hit a line with a point. So you'd probably want to use one of these tools here. Just remember, again, unselect your parcel layer, so use the clear all selected, and then reselect your particular layer that you want to relate to this permit. So that kind of sums out how to relate permits to GIS features, i.e. non-land parcels or street centerline segments.